Chapter 19, New Version of a Miracle. Doppelganger Skill. It sounded promising. Mike immediately flashed back to the magic array to view the skill's effect. Hidden information, rare doppelganger skill, able to create a new body that can be nurtured. Appearance, body, gender and etc. can be freely chosen. The power of the doppelganger can be fused with the main body. Recommended use. Mike cried out in surprise. He originally thought that it would allow him to create a shadow doppelganger that shared a few % of his strength to help him fight in battles, but he had underestimated the doppelganger skill. It could create a physical body. It could be nurtured. It could even be fused with his main body. Didn't that mean that Mike's growth speed would be twice as fast as others? Let's use it. Mike was considered to be more experienced and knowledgeable, but even at this moment, he was still excited. Doppelganger skill mastered. Mike had an additional skill, and he used it immediately. The creation of a doppelganger interface appeared, and it was just like in the game where you could customize your character. You could choose their appearance, body, and gender. Mike didn't have a single hint of hesitation in his actions. He clicked female. Since he was able to create a doppelganger, he naturally had to look at the angle of his life where he couldn't touch to improve his experience. He giggled for a long time. Then he finally coughed twice and reverted it back to a male. Mike felt that he looked too wretched and pitiful. So he pinched his face and adjusted it. A doppelganger that looked completely different from Mike was created. Level 0 Doppelganger, no potential. Doppelganger potential can be nurtured. Nurturing method. It was a hidden information notification. Potential could be increased. The doppelganger created would have 0 potential, which allowed it to have a huge room for improvement. If nurtured properly, the future potential of what it could do was unimaginable. I will definitely use up all my materials and nurture it to the most insane level, Mike said with a smile. The materials he needed were basically colorless crystals. Mike threw all the ones he had in his inventory into it. He had obtained a large number of colorless crystals through the trade market's purchases, after all. Doppelganger, gold tier potential. Mike stopped throwing any more materials into it. The colorless crystals that he was getting were scarce now, so it was difficult to collect the colorless crystals required to nurture the potential to platinum tier. He could still slowly nurture it in the future, and it wasn't like he was in any hurry. This doppelganger of mine might be even stronger than my original body. Mike smiled faintly. Let's bring him out to level up. When Mike teamed up with the doppelganger, his experience points would be divided between him and the doppelganger. The doppelganger's level quickly rose, reaching around level 20. However, just as everything was going smoothly, in the distant forest, black fog filled the air. Then the earth and the mountains began to shake. Isn't that the location of the Overlord exotic beast? What's going on? The black fog became denser and denser. Then a cloud of darkness filled the sky. That's a little scary, Mike said in surprise. It blocked out the sky and the sun, and the entire earth felt dangerous. Mike was shocked. He felt that he couldn't stay out any longer and brought his doppelganger back into the magic array. In the forest, the Overlord tier exotic beast was rapidly becoming stronger. The black-robed man released a steady stream of energy into the exotic beast's body, and the earth and sky were shaking because of what the black-robed man was doing. But the black-robed man suddenly raised his head. A miracle. A miracle has been discovered on Earth. No wonder the exotic beast encountered an enemy that it couldn't defeat. Damn it. This actually activated the miracle to form planet Earth. When the black-robed man realized this, he roared angrily. You kill that human as soon as possible. Don't let him continue to grow. Even such an embryonic form of a miracle can defeat you. The longer this miracle exists, the more disadvantageous it will be. Hurry. You must hurry. Roar. The overlord exotic beast responded with a low roar. The human headquarters of Earth, which was also the official location of the game, had suddenly burst into chaos. Director. Something big has happened. The game has suddenly changed. Everything is starting to go out of control. What? What's going on? It can't be because of that mic again, right? This time it's not. The game is undergoing a huge change. We can't understand it at all. There are many NPCs, cities, and mysterious maps that suddenly appeared. The game is evolving automatically, and we have no idea why. In the chat channels, the players also noticed this situation, and they all asked for a reason. Why is the land expanding? Could it be that Earth is expanding? There are so many cities and statues. It's so magnificent, so huge. There are so many people. So many mysterious people have appeared. Could it be that the apocalypse is coming? No, those people are also hunting exotic beasts, as if they are our own people. But they only hunt exotic beasts that are close to the cities. Could it be that the game updated? Cities and NPCs have appeared. Isn't this a virtual projection? So, is it just me, or is Earth expanding? What's going on? Who knows, just accept it. The invasion of the exotic beasts has already happened. What else is there that we're unable to accept? That's true. The top geniuses of mankind were desperately trying to figure out why this was happening, and they worked with maximum efficiency. Finally, they had a basic understanding of the situation, and they released an announcement. Please do not panic, the game is going through a series of updates. There are many cities, additional NPCs, dungeons, larger maps, and so on that have appeared. Players can enter safe cities to join factions, understand dungeon information, and explore other ways to play. The officials heaved a sigh of relief. It was good as long as it was not a new danger that had appeared. It should be that Miracle's server had undergone a huge change for some reason. Miracle was not created by humans, but it was a finished product that they had obtained. The top geniuses of mankind had only just managed to create a server that could make use of a miracle. It really is a new update. Is the city a safe zone? There's finally a way out. We don't need to be afraid in the wild. Sob, 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 sob. There's an opportunity to grow here. Har har. Following the update, a new channel appeared in the chat. Voice transmission. Whether it was the players or the officials, none of them had access to this function. At this moment, a message appeared on the voice transmission channel. Hello, humans. My faction is called the Palace of the Wind King. We welcome humans to join. The Palace of the Fire King welcomes humans to join. The Palace of the Sea King welcomes humans to join. The Palace of the Heavenly King welcomes humans to join. It seemed that new factions were emerging. But then, as the most powerful faction, the Palace of the Heavenly King, I invite the human, Mike, to join us. You may reply to me in the voice transmission channel. As soon as this news came out, it instantly blew up the world channel. Pros would always be pros. Mike was directly invited through the voice transmission channel. The only one. And the one who invited him was from the most powerful faction, the Palace of the Heavenly King. Me? Mike was stunned, but he didn't have time to react. The Palace of the Heavenly King has invited human Mike to join. The Palace of the Fire King has invited human Mike to join. Every message that came after shocked the world channel even more. Do you know what ostentation means? This was it. This was just too showy, wasn't it? While others struggled to figure out the significance of these factions, Mike had already received invites from the various factions. Hidden information: these factions have invited you because you have the greatest influence at the moment. They do not value you in essence, they only value your influence and want you to be the representative of humanity. Mike saw the notification. So that's it, they wanted him to be their mascot. I refuse. Mike wasn't interested in being one. Chapter 20, The Ban from All Factions. I refuse. Mike's reply appeared on the voice transmission channel. He was only permitted to reply one message and could no longer say anything in the channel after that. In the World channel. I refused. He refused. Duck? Are you serious? Pros will always be pros. So many major factions have invited him and him alone, yet he rejected them all so decisively. He didn't even ask for the conditions. Is this what it means to be a pro? Why don't you invite me instead? I want to join. Are you even worthy enough? In the voice transmission channel, everyone from the Heavenly King's Palace and the other factions had not expected Mike to reject their invitations. You don't understand the concept of the Heavenly King's Palace. The Heavenly King's Palace is the most powerful faction in the entire miracle. If you join us, you'll be thousands of times stronger than you are now. Without us, your lifetime achievements will only make you dozens of times stronger at most. As for the other people who join the Heavenly King's Palace, no matter how weak they are compared to you now, they will reach existences that you could only dream to reach in the future. Furthermore, rejecting the Heavenly King's Palace is considered an offense against us. Think carefully. The same goes for the Sea King's Palace. The same goes for the Fire King's Palace. You must join at least one faction. Otherwise, you will offend all the factions that have invited you. How could a simple rejection cause such a huge reaction? There had to be a reason. Hidden information: the palaces think that their dignity should not be offended, and it's not because they value you. Joining them might expose your secret and cause danger to you, and they will not hesitate to hurt you. The humans that join them are treated like dogs in their eyes. Who would want to join them? Luckily, Mike could see the hidden information. Otherwise, something terrible might have happened. Stop babbling, I refuse, Mike replied. Human, you will pay the price for today's rejection. Mike, it will be hard for you to develop in the future. No major cities will welcome you. You won't be able to advance one bit. Unable to advance one bit. Who cares? It was better than joining these factions just to be treated as their lackeys. Developing himself in the wild would be better than that. In the World channel. Big bro Mike is really tough. Unfortunately, no matter how strong Mike is, he is still just a human. Moreover, he was only famous in the early days, not now. How could he even begin to compete with these powerful factions? He can't even enter the cities, so he won't be able to develop himself. Mike is finished. Perhaps after a period of time, all of us will be stronger than Mike. Such a pity that one moment of arrogance will ruin your entire future. If I were Mike, I would definitely agree. He doesn't seem to be very smart. He has his specialties. He's good at fighting monsters and researching, but he's definitely not good at interacting with others. In other words, he's not tactful. He's not even allowed to enter the cities. Mike is so pitiful. I guess his raw meat will soon be worthless now that the newer version of the game is out. At least the raw meat is still a treasure now. Mike closed the chat interface. He didn't care about the outside world, he was just focused on developing himself and his own business. What was wrong with offending all the factions and being restricted from entering the main cities? It didn't matter. Hidden information: the doppelganger has not been discovered by any factions or individuals. It can freely enter and leave the main cities without any restrictions. Mike raised his eyebrows. So, his doppelganger had such an advantage. Interesting. A smile appeared on Mike's lips. Telling me that I'm banned from the main cities just makes me want to enter it even more now. I'll send my doppelganger inside. I can use him to join with those factions and take them down from within. It's dangerous if I were to go in personally. It doesn't matter if my doppelganger dies. I'll just create another one. The closest place to this place was a city called Letter City. It didn't have the same high status as Heavenly King City or Sea King City, but it was also an important city. Many players entered Letter City, and in fact, most players would eventually enter cities just like this one. After all, only a few players would be able to stay at places like Heavenly King City, as it was a high-level venue. It was not a place where current players could mingle around. Inside Letter City, every player who entered the main city would be reminded to go to the Profession Alliance to upgrade their class medal. Upgrade class medal. What's that? The players were lined up one after another. They were allowed to freely upgrade or change their class, but it could only be done once. My main body is a mage, so my doppelganger will be a necromancer. Mike went to line up too. He was more interested in this summoner-type class. There was a long line for necromancers. Someone was explaining the levels of the class medals to the players, and the players finally understood. So, there are different levels divided among each medal. Most of us have beginner or intermediate medals. According to their analysis, the reason why Mike is so strong was probably that he took an advanced medal or even a supreme medal. What? Is this really the reason why Mike is so strong? What about us? We can upgrade the medal to supreme for free in the Profession Alliance. In the future, if the conditions were met, we can even upgrade to the legendary bronze tier. Damn. And directly surpass Mike. Isn't it expensive to keep entering the city though? Mike actually refused such a good opportunity. Har har, I knew it. In the future, every one of us will turn out stronger than Mike. When Mike finds out about this, he will definitely regret this, all the way to his death. He got lucky and obtained an advanced tier class medal and thinks that he's a cut above us. Just wait, he'll be below us soon enough. Har har. He definitely will. I reckon in the future, he won't have the chance to enter the city even if he begged. He even turned down the invitations of those powerful factions like the Heavenly King's Palace. He was probably just trying to act cool in that moment. They didn't know that Mike was actually right beside them. He just had a different appearance. Even though his name was still Mike, there were too many people named Mike. Everyone mainly recognizes each other by their appearance and identity number. Soon, it was Mike's turn. Mike's doppelganger didn't have a class medal. Now he was going over to receive one. Your original class medal level is, the person from the Profession Alliance checked Mike. He was suddenly stunned, and he raised his head in disbelief. You didn't pick a class. The person said in surprise. No, Mike admitted. He hadn't picked a class, but he already reached level 20. Wait a moment. The person who checked him hurriedly contacted his superior. Maybe he was boosted by someone. Aren't there many parties that were grinding levels? The superior replied, however, you can test his potential. They didn't think that Mike had good potential, but they still tested him anyway. They brought Mike to the place where they test the player's potentials and told him to stand in a fixed position. He must have been carried to reach the level he is now. Even if he had potential, it wouldn't be a lot. Don't get your hopes up. A light soon appeared around Mike, and the color of the light was changing. From white, it slowly turned green. Bronze tier. He does have some potential, but that should be all. Then, it turned silver. Everyone's expressions changed. Silver tier was considered rare. This was not potential that came from being carried, but innate potential. If the potential in the innate state was already so high, after nurturing it together with outside help, one could become a pretty strong character. But soon, it turned to gold. Everyone's expression changed. How is this possible?